I'm going to go through a note today on vitamins, minerals, and water. We have discussed the three major macronutrients that are important for nutrition. You'll recall too, there's a fourth, which is nucleic acids, but that doesn't necessarily apply to nutrition. So this is why we're not going to focus on it in the course. But we've discussed carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. And the other essential component in nutrition for a healthy body and healthy functioning of your body is the piece of vitamins, minerals, and water. And today we're going to go over the two main classes of vitamins. We're going to list 7 minerals that your body needs in significant amounts. We're going to talk about other minerals as well, but there are 7 major ones. And then we'll also explain why water is so important to your body. And we're going to talk about a couple other things as well as we go through. So there is a myth out there that as part of a healthy diet, people need to take dietary supplements. So over-the-counter vitamins, different herbal supplements, maybe certain mineral supplements that we feel that we need to take. And the truth is that if you have a good diet and it is varied and you try to access as many different kinds of foods as possible, you should get all of your vitamins and minerals out of your diet alone, and you really don't need supplements. So why do we need vitamins and minerals? So every day your body produces skin, muscle, and bone. It churns out rich red blood that carries nutrients and oxygen to remote outposts, and it sends nerve signals skipping along thousands of miles of brain and body pathways. It also formulates chemical messengers that shuttle from one organ to another, issuing the instructions that help sustain your life. So your body does a lot of processes naturally without our help, and these processes just naturally occur day to day, hour to hour. But in order for your body to do this, it needs help, and it requires some raw materials. And these include at least 30 vitamins, minerals, and other dietary components that your body needs, but it cannot manufacture on its own in sufficient amounts. Okay, so there's a few vitamins that your body can produce on its own. One is vitamin D, but it only can produce vitamin D if you go out into the sun. So the UV light does a reaction within your body and you can produce vitamin D, but not everybody goes out in the sun. Especially now in the wintertime, there's not a lot of sun for us. So there are times where we actually need to supplement that. And again, our food will help do that. Vitamins and minerals are considered essential nutrients because acting together, so you need them together, they perform hundreds of roles in the body. They help strengthen bones, heal wounds, bolster your immune system, and then they also convert food into energy, and they can repair cell damage. So they're very important, and we want to make sure that we're getting enough of our vitamins and minerals and that we're not deficient in anything. So one of the first discoveries of the importance of vitamins came like long time ago in the 1700s. And this is where this doctor right here, James Lind, he discovered that sailors who were fed citrus fruits recovered from scurvy. And you might have heard of this disease, scurvy. Here's a picture of it here. It affects the muscles, the collagen in people if they're not getting enough vitamin C. Okay, that's the culprit. People's teeth were falling out because, again, their gums were not able to hold their teeth together. So it is largely a muscle issue and tissue issue. And it's vitamin C. And on boats, when these sailors were working and having long journeys, they didn't have access to citrus fruits because, well, for 2 reasons. Maybe they weren't in season, but also they probably would have gone bad over the journey. They were usually gone for long periods of time, and so they didn't take food like that, fresh food. So what exactly are vitamins and how are they different than minerals? So vitamins are organic molecules, okay? And by that, we don't mean, so lots of times people think organic means, like organic fruit and vegetables. So grown without pesticides or grown without any kind of chemical spray. And that is true, but in science or in chemistry in particular, organic means carbon-based. And this is exactly how you would classify carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Those are all organic molecules. And we went over that with our notes. They have carbon backbones. So again, take a look at these 3 examples of vitamins at the bottom of the screen. You'll notice, again, that line structure. And you guys are aware, every point along that structure is a carbon. And that is what an organic molecule is. So 2 classes of vitamins. There are fat-soluble vitamins and there are water-soluble vitamins. And fat-soluble vitamins do exactly what they say. They dissolve in the fats of our body. And we all have fat in our body. Even, the skinniest of people still have fat stores within their body, in their cells, different parts. Water soluble dissolve in water. So it's important that we're hydrated, and our blood is mostly water. But the problem here is that we will pee, right, regularly throughout the day, and we will lose those vitamins every time that we pee. Fat-soluble vitamins will tend to stick around longer. So the danger here is that you need to keep replenishing water-soluble vitamins because, again, you'll lose them more quickly. But the fat-soluble vitamins you don't lose as quickly. So the danger with that is not to overdose on them. Okay, and so this is where you don't want to keep taking like huge amounts of fat-soluble vitamins day after day after day. They'll build up to sometimes toxic levels within your fat stores. So a little bit about fat-soluble vitamins, right? Stored by the body. Here are your 4 fat-soluble vitamins, folks. Make a note of this. This you need to know. Vitamins A, D, E, and K are the 4 fat-soluble vitamins. Everybody else is water-soluble. And you'll find them in vegetable oils, in liver. Okay, so this is like liver that you would eat from other animals. So sometimes people eat like beef liver, and that's where you would get that. Eggs are great. Actually, an egg, I don't know if you know this, an egg contains every single vitamin on Earth, except vitamin C. So eggs are a really, really good source of nutrition. And then certain vegetables, okay? Here are some sources of our fat-soluble vitamins, and you are going to stop the video now and you're going to jot these down, okay? You might not need to put every single word in, but certainly summarize this chart and make notes for yourself. Water-soluble vitamins cannot be stored by the body, and I already mentioned this to you. You will excrete them. Okay, every day, essentially, as you drink water, and then as, again, you flush that out of your system, which is a normal thing. Examples of water-soluble vitamins are vitamin C and all of the B vitamins. Okay, and we need all of those for, again, vitamin C helps with, well, many things you'll see in the chart, immune system and different things. B vitamins are essential for energy as well. So sources of water-soluble vitamins, fruits, vegetables, whole grain foods, and many other foods. So, we can't list every single fruit and vegetable here because, again, you have a lesson that would go on for hours. But you get the idea that just, the more healthy eating that you carry out, you'll notice processed food is nowhere here. So a hamburger is probably not going to give you all of the vitamins and minerals that you need, even though they're delicious. We do really got to focus on fruits and vegetables to get the majority of our vitamins and minerals. Here again, you're going to stop the video and you're going to just jot down these sources and functions of here's all of our B vitamins. I don't even know if you were aware of, that we have 5 different B vitamins. And we want you to know these. And then here again is a little bit more water-soluble vitamins to jot down in your note. So stop the video. You can do that now. When you're done, you're going to resume. And we'll talk just a little bit about antioxidants. So antioxidants, you've probably heard of them. They are supposedly good for the body. People talk about, a healthy source of antioxidants. Well, what do? Every day when you have mitosis going on in your cells, sometimes there are damages that happen, and an antioxidant will sometimes help that. And this is where, again, helps protect healthy cells from the damage caused by normal aging, which, again, aging is mitosis happening over and over and over again. And as that happens, we also consume sometimes free radicals. And these are elements that have a free electron and are looking to pair up that free electron and bond with something. When it bonds with something in your body, it causes damage to that particular area. So what an antioxidant will also do is it will bond to that free radical, and it'll save the components of your body that the free radical would normally attack. So all antioxidants are actually types of vitamins. Okay, so this is why, again, it's important that we have a lot of vitamins in our system. Vitamin C and E are two of the most powerful antioxidants. Vitamin C is really quite a vitamin. A lot of people swear by taking huge amounts of it, taking supplements, even though we said you don't really need them. A lot of people will take extra vitamin C supplements, particularly in the winter. Vitamin C helps strengthen blood vessel walls, strengthens your immune system. It aids in iron absorption. And we're going to talk now about minerals. So we're going to move from vitamins. And again, we didn't cover, an in-depth array of certain vitamins, just talked generally about most of them. And with minerals, we're going to focus a little bit more on the main macro minerals that we call them. So a mineral is a nutrient that regulates many chemical reactions in the body. It occurs naturally in rocks and soil. Okay, so how do we get those? Well, we're not going to go about eating rocks and we're not going to eat soil, but plants grow in soil and rocks will break down, okay, and become smaller gravel or eventually, sand. And then the plants can absorb those minerals from the soil. And so when we eat plants, or we eat an animal that ate a plant, okay, that absorbed those minerals, this is how they get into our body. All of our minerals are elements on the periodic table, okay, so they are, they tend to be metal elements, generally, off the periodic table. Minerals that are required in amounts greater than 100 milligrams per day are considered to be macro minerals, okay, so again, this just means large amounts. Calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, chlorine, and sulfur are your main 7 macro minerals. And there's a whole bunch of trace minerals. I'm only listing 2 here. There's all kinds of trace minerals that our body needs as well. So let's just go through a few of these. So calcium is important in blood clotting and the functioning of your nervous system. And we know that good sources of calcium, everybody knows, is dairy. But then there's certain vegetables that are also great sources. Green leafy vegetables, they say. So broccoli is one of these superfoods that it's high in tons of things. Now, if you just eat salad, okay, or lettuce, that won't be very high in calcium. Although, if you eat romaine lettuce, I don't know if you're familiar with romaine lettuce, that's what Caesar salads are usually made out of. Most people toss away the stalk. So they kind of or they call it a rib, right, of the big, long romaine leaf. And they usually get rid of that because they don't like to eat it. They want to eat the leaf part. But apparently the majority of calcium in romaine lettuce is held in that rib. So you might want to eat it. Kale. So green leafy vegetables like kale, Swiss chard, those would be high in calcium, more so than just normal lettuce. It is an essential ingredient in the formation and maintenance of bones and teeth, and that is because the mineral calcium is built right into the structure of both of those things. And a lack of calcium can sometimes lead to osteoporosis. Women tend to have to worry about that a little bit more, and that is because as women age, their levels of hormones change over time, and osteoporosis is a condition that occurs with 2 things. One is a lower level of estrogen, okay, which happens as women age. And then it's also if you don't get enough calcium. So you can easily avoid osteoporosis by maintaining your calcium intake. You cannot maintain your estrogen intake forever, or production rather forever, but you can maintain your calcium intake. And if you let both of those slack, then you could be at risk for osteoporosis. And that is a real legitimate issue. Potassium is also an important mineral, particularly for people who have high blood pressure. Okay, so potassium and sodium work together to maintain water balance in the body. And you'll notice like potassium and sodium. If you have too much sodium, you end up with high blood pressure in your system. And you need both of these to work in tandem to maintain water balance in the body and to maintain normal stores. So if you have a lack of potassium, you're going to have your water balance will be out of whack, and you're going to have higher concentrations of sodium as a result, which leads to higher blood pressure. Generally, it is thought that most Canadians do not consume enough potassium. It is a chronic problem, and the most potassium that can be found in a food are in bananas. Iron is necessary for healthy red blood cells, and the reason for this is that the hemoglobin molecule that is made up in our blood, it is a big organic molecule, but right at the center of it is an iron atom. So it's essential in the component of red blood. If a person's diet does not include enough iron, he or she may develop anemia. So a condition in which the red blood cells do not contain enough hemoglobin. So this is what I was talking about. And then that person will feel really tired. Okay, they'll look, their skin will be kind of pale. They'll just be really tired a lot. And it is very common, actually, especially in young female teenagers, that they may develop anemia. So just be careful. Make sure that you are getting enough iron. And this is where, again, if you have decided to take on a vegetarian or vegan lifestyle, particularly if you're young, you are in danger of not getting an adequate diet, and you may not be getting enough iron. Cereal, as a side note, contains a lot of iron, and they add that in. Okay, so the manufacturers of cereals add it in. You can crush up cereals, and then you can take a magnet, and you'll actually get like all of your iron will stick to the magnet. It's kind of gross to think about that, but they specifically add it in, again, because, everybody will eat cereal, but a lot of young people tend to eat cereal, and this is why. Here's sodium. Okay, so a lot of people hate sodium. Okay, they think it's the devil, and the reason for it is high blood pressure. Okay, and this is only if you're consuming too much. So you just have to be careful. Don't add salts to every type of food that you eat. It's unnecessary. If you eat a lot of processed foods, okay, so pre-packaged foods, or if you go out and you eat at fast food restaurants, you will definitely be consuming too much sodium. They add sodium to all pre-packaged and fast foods for two reasons: for taste, okay, and also to prolong shelf life in pre-packaged foods. So if you go to a counter, let's say, that has pre-made sandwiches or pre-made salads and things like that, they're adding excess sodium there, if nothing else, a little bit for taste, but to preserve it so that bacteria doesn't grow. Okay, so just be careful with sodium. And here, to limit sodium in snacks, obviously fruits and vegetables, right? Those are the better options all the time. And, eat unsalted things if you're worried about it. And then, instead of eating salty snacks, go for yogurts or smoothies instead. Again, you're going to stop the video. You're going to jot down, here's our 7 main minerals. Okay, so we want you to know those 7. And then here's a whole pile of trace minerals. Okay, and I want you to jot them all down, but, focus more on, iron, iodine, zinc, these ones right here in the middle. Okay, so we'll give you a minute to copy that, and then you can resume the video. So let's talk a bit now about supplements. This is a big industry. You're going to have an article to read about this soon. And vitamin and mineral supplements are not usually necessary if your diet is nutritious and well balanced. An excess or overdose of vitamins or minerals may damage your health. And if you do take a vitamin or mineral supplement, a healthcare provider can advise you about how much is the right amount. And this is important. And your doctor should be doing this. Okay, I know my doctor, when I go to see her, she asks me to bring the vitamins that I'm taking, and she wants to look at the amounts of everything. And sometimes she'll say to me, like, you really don't need to be taking this vitamin or that vitamin. And it's important that you're not causing damage. Some people just think, oh, it's not going to harm me to take some, but you got to be careful. Let's talk about water for the last little bit here. So water is so important to our body. And you see here, about 65% of your body weight is water, okay? And here's just an interesting stat. You can lose 4 cups. Don't know if you have any idea of 4 cups is a liter, okay? A liter of water during every hour of heavy exercise, okay? So it's so important that you're drinking water, especially after you exercise. Nearly all of the body's chemical reactions, including those that produce energy and build new tissues, take place in a water solution. Okay, so it's essential for your body to function. Homeostasis, okay, kind of an interesting word, but it's the process of maintaining a steady state inside your body. It's also referred to sometimes as an equilibrium. So what it does is it allows normal processes that are supposed to happen in your body to maintain themselves, okay? And if you don't have enough water, sometimes then these processes will get out of whack and you start to feel sick. So, for example, when you become overheated, okay, so whether it's hot outside or you've been playing basketball or whatever, your body starts to produce perspiration, okay? So you start to sweat. And I don't know if you realize that, but that actually cools your body down. And water will regulate your body temperature. If you don't have an intake of enough water, you're not going to perspire as much. Your body will not be able to cool itself. So again, this is a maintenance system, and then you will not achieve homeostasis. You will become overheated, and then you can pass out or have something awful happen. Water contains dissolved substances called electrolytes that regulate many processes in your cells. Now, this is what we mean that this once it's in your system. Okay, so as soon as you drink water, then like the minerals, right? Sodium, potassium, they go into the water that you drink, and then this is how they get, traveled around throughout your body, and then they can regulate these processes. So dehydration is something that we have to really be aware of, and it's a condition where the water in your body has fallen to an extremely low level. And if you become dehydrated, there's all kinds of different signs, right? So fatigue, dry mouth, dizziness, weakness, but those things can, they can arise from other issues as well. One of the biggest clues is infrequent urination. So, for example, if you realize like you've been at school all day and you have not gone to the washroom, right, to pee, then that maybe is a sign that you are, not fully dehydrated, but you're not getting enough water. Okay, so just watch for symptoms like this. Dehydration is a very, very common problem among us. And lots of times people are dehydrated, they don't even really know, okay? So how much water should you be drinking, just to kind of get an idea? We'll talk about that in a second. But before we do that, just also, another problem from dehydration is the fact that your blood is 90% water. And so you need to be drinking enough water to keep the blood in your body sufficiently hydrated. As the body loses water, it's going to start to thicken, and then it makes it harder for the heart to pump blood throughout the body. So again, just, don't strain your cells unknowingly. All right, so, every day, how much do you need? So this one is for female teenagers. It says you need at least 10 8-ounce cups. Okay, now what's 8 ounces? 8 ounces is 250 mils. So you don't need 250 mils in total. You need 10 times 250 mils. That's roughly 2.5 liters of water. Okay, so go right now into the kitchen and take a look at what 250 mils of water is, or go get like a 1 cup measure, okay, out of the baking supplies, and you need 10 of those, okay, every day. Men or males in the same age group need more. Okay, you guys need more, and you actually need 14 cups of water. Okay, so 14 times 250 mils. Sports drinks are really important, or not important. They're not important. They're popular, I should say. And a lot of people are obsessed with sports drinks. I'm horrified all the time when I see my 10-year-old nephews like obsessed with sports drinks and downing them like crazy. They are not necessary, okay? They are loaded with sugar, loaded. And the reason for that is a sports drink is like drinking back your sweat, okay? That's what they were designed for, is to be drank after high exercise, high impact. And they don't taste good. Like, I do not care for the taste of them at all. And the reason is that they're salty, right? That's when you sweat, you lose a lot of salt and potassium, and you're drinking that back in. And to mask that taste, they load it up with sugar or artificial sweeteners, which are not any better. And so they really are not necessary. Here, if you exercise for 60 minutes or less, if you exercise longer, a sports drink that contains carbohydrates may be more beneficial, because we know carbohydrates are what we burn when we are expending energy. Sports drinks with electrolytes, this is where you come in with the salts and, most Gatorades and Powerades and all that, that's what they're dealing with, are not necessary unless you exercise for 5 hours or more. And most of us are not doing that. Herbal supplements. Okay, so we're just going to talk here about a couple of different supplements. So sports drinks would be a supplement. Some people take herbal supplements, and these are supplements that contain extracts or ingredients from roots, berries, seeds, stems, leaves, buds, flowers, okay, all herbal, coming from plants. Herbal supplements are officially classified as food and not drugs. And as a result of that, because they're coming from plants, right? So plants are food. They are never regulated by the government, okay? So that means here, herbal or dietary supplements do not have to be proven safe or screened by the FDA. Okay, this is an American corporation, but it's exactly the same in Canada before being placed on the market. So, some people like to take herbal supplements, and if you do, you got to be very careful about the brand that you take, why you're taking it, how much you're taking. They're not regulated by the government. Another supplement just to chat about is something called creatine, which you may or may not have heard of, but a lot of male teenagers use creatine. And what it is an amino acid that is made in our liver, kidneys, and pancreas. It's also found naturally in meat and fish. So we know an amino acid makes up proteins. Okay, so this is a type of protein supplement. And it says many teenagers use creatine to increase their athletic performance or to become more muscular. Okay, so it is a supplement. It's a protein supplement. And I've seen my nephews, my older nephews, making, protein shakes in the morning and different things. I don't know if creatine is in that. I'm not sure, but be careful, because suspicion that excessive creatine use can cause cramping, diarrhea, nausea, dizziness, dehydration, muscle strain, high blood pressure, and abnormal liver or kidney function. Okay, so again, if you're eating enough meat and fish, you probably don't need creatine. And, again, protein supplements are all the rage right now. People are taking protein shakes. They're making protein shakes all the time. And let's just, talk a little bit. Again, we're not going into anything into great detail, but just to touch on it. Protein supplements are a product taken orally that contains proteins that are intended to supplement one's diet and are not considered food. Okay? So health and fitness experts say that the amount of protein needed each day is about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Okay, so if you weigh 150 pounds, then you should have 150 grams of protein. Most people easily meet or exceed this requirement. Any excess protein is actually converted to fat and not to muscle. You only need so much, okay? And it's like anything. If you eat too much of it or you take too much in, it doesn't help you, okay? Very few things do. The only thing that probably, you don't have to worry about overdosing on are water-soluble vitamins because, again, they get flushed out of your body every day. Anything else you got to be careful about overdosing on. Here are some questions for you guys to answer about vitamins, minerals, and water. And then other tasks will be assigned in the announcement section that I posted today.